So I'm Maggie, and this is
Lucy.
Lucy, tell everybody how old you are.
I'm almost 11.
Almost 11. May 1st is her birthday. So if you're just joining me, I want to know if you're not from Arizona, what state you're from. So we have I think we have like 5 or 6 different states. I'm so excited. If you haven't turned off your audio and your video, do that. And there's a couple Arizona people representing. Yay, Arizona. Okay, so this is how this is gonna work. I'm gonna go through the recipe. You do not have to cook with me if you do not want to. But if you are cooking with me, I'll slow down at some points just to make sure you're getting all your measuring and cutting done. If you're on your iPad, go to gallery view. If you're on an iPhone, swipe all the way to the left so that you go to your gallery view. Because I have a bird's eye view of the cutting board in there. So you can toggle back and forth between those two. So we're gonna be cutting an apple, and then I'm gonna be showing you how to roll the dough. So hopefully everybody's ready to get started. This is only our 2nd Zoom class, so we're fingers crossed. You know, there's landscapers in the yard. Hopefully they don't turn on the lawnmower. We have a dog, he might bark, but we're gonna roll with it, okay? Hopefully you guys are all comfortable. We didn't shower for this, did we? No, we did it. We did our hair, but we didn't shower. So hopefully everybody's comfy at home. All right, so we're doing apple monkey bread muffins today. Oh, and I do have my iPad set up over here. So I will try and answer questions as I am going through. I have Texas in the house. Woo-woo. So I'm gonna have to count up. So a couple people haven't turned off their audio or their video. So if you can do that, that would be great. Okay, so I'm gonna go first through the ingredients, and as I go through the ingredients, I'll talk to you a little bit about them as well, and then we'll start going through. So Lucy, a couple important things about cooking. What do we do first?
You have to wash your hands.
Wash your hands first. Hopefully you guys have been doing a lot of that anyway.
Then you have to mise en place.
So you have to mise en place. So I'm gonna tell them what mise en place is, and then you're gonna tell me a couple other things, like if you're a kid, what you need to do first, okay? So mise en place is having everything prepped and sliced and diced before you start cooking, because if you haven't done that, you get stressed out, and it just makes the cooking process so much easier if you have everything already sliced and diced and measured out before you start the cooking process. So I apologize for this arm here, but I do want to make sure you guys get the bird's eye view too. If you're just joining me, not everybody has joined yet, I don't think, but if you are just joining me, if you're on your iPad, go to gallery view. If you're on your iPhone, swipe all the way to the left so that you are on your gallery view. Okay, so what's up? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, what else should you do? If you're a kid, what should you do before you start cooking?
You should wash your hands like everybody else, and
what about asking an adult?
You have to ask an adult for permission to cook, because, you know, stove and
knives
and the oven.
Yes, stove in the oven. So we're gonna do that, and then I also always have a trash bowl on my workstation, and this just cuts down on trips to the garbage disposal and trash can. Okay, are you ready? Are you checking on the chats?
Yeah.
I think we're good. Okay, so the first thing we have is flour. So I've already measured out my 2 cups of flour. So when you're measuring dry ingredients, you always want to use a dry measuring cup. So this is a dry measuring cup. This is a dry measuring cup. You always want to use a dry measuring cup when you're measuring dry ingredients. You want to lightly spoon the ingredients in, level it off with a straight edge. You're never diving into your bag. You're never tapping it or shaking it, because that way you pack it and you end up adding too much. And so when we measure liquid ingredients, we always measure in a liquid measuring cup. Okay, so we have our flour. Lucy, come on over and help me. Okay, so we have our flour, and Lucy is going to add in, I have my baking soda and my salt right there. While she's doing that, I'm gonna get started on, so whisk in the baking soda and the salt. I'm gonna get started on the caramel sauce that's going in here. It's really just brown sugar and butter. So we're using a stick of butter, and I have a little induction cooktop over here. So I'm using induction cooktop, And I'm just gonna melt the butter over low heat. And then I'm gonna add in the brown sugar, and then we'll boil that for a minute. So I have my flour, my baking soda, my salt, my heavy cream. We need that out of the refrigerator. I'll go grab that out of the refrigerator. Lucy's gonna keep whisking. Okay, be right back.
Miss you guys. I know that we can't do it in person, and we really wish we could, but this we can do for people out of state too, so that's good.
That is good. Really good sales right there. Okay, so we're gonna measure our heavy cream in our liquid measuring cup. So we're gonna do about 1.5 cups, and this is what's gonna add the fat into the biscuit part of our muffins. So we're gonna add in, so we wanna take the whisk out. We're gonna add in the heavy cream. Okay, now while Lucy's stirring that, I'm gonna cut my apple. So I have a Fuji apple. I got the question, can you sub something for heavy cream? Yes, you can sub butter. I'm gonna give you a roundabout figure, probably about 1.5 sticks. Cut it up into small cubes, and you actually wanna work it into the flour with your fingers. And it'll be like, it'll look like wet sand, and you want the biggest piece of butter to look no bigger than the size of a pea. All right, baking powder. Unfortunately, there is no substitute for baking powder that I know of. I know it's super tough to find. I found mine at Walmart. We were supposed to use the spatula, remember? So get that out with the spatula. So I know it's hard to find, but I had luck with Walmart. All right, so for our apple, I'm gonna cut off the top and the bottom, and hopefully you can see this. And now I'm gonna peel it, and I just try and do it in one fell swoop. I don't like to use a paring knife for this. I lose too much of the flesh of the apple. So this is what I call my Sleepless in Seattle peel. So we're just gonna keep going around and around. And there we have it. And then, okay, I can hear my butter bubbling. So I'm gonna add my brown sugar. So brown sugar is the only dry ingredient that you do pack. That's okay. That you do pack. I'm gonna add that in right now. And you can use light or dark. They're pretty much interchangeable. It's just really the biggest thing is the color. So I'm gonna stir this really quickly. I'll show you what it looks like. I'm gonna stir that, and then it's gonna come to a boil, and I'm gonna let it boil for about 1 minute. All right, back to the apple. I'm gonna cut the apple in half. And with a melon baller, if you don't have a melon baller, I'm gonna show you how to do it without a melon baller. What is in the saucepan? The butter and the brown sugar. Okay, so I am going to scoop out the seeds. All right, you're good there. I think that's good. Ready to be done. And then I'm gonna take out the blossom end and the stem end. Can you stir the brown sugar? I'm gonna turn it over onto its flat side, and then I'm just gonna cut it into planks, about 1/2 inch or so. And then I'll turn the planks to the side, cut those into strips, and then turn the strips, and then dice them. And don't worry about them browning, because they are gonna be cooked anyway, so they're gonna brown as they cook. Plus, they're gonna be covered in butter and brown sugar, so you're not gonna be able to tell. So turn that to the side. How's it coming over there, Lucy?
It's very watery.
That's butter. That's the good stuff right there.
Buttery.
Yeah. All right, so how to cut the apple, get the seeds out of the apple.
Can you use 1/2 and 1/2 instead?
I already got that one. What should the oven be preheated to? The oven should be preheated to 350 degrees. Just a note on preheating, when your oven says it's preheated, wait another 15 minutes to make sure it's fully preheated, especially for baking. All right, so if you do not have a melon baller, you are just gonna cut that 1/2 an apple into a quarter and just get behind the core. And then we'll just do everything the exact same way. So no big deal if you don't have a melon baller, but it sure is nice to have. Is there another question?
Yes, can you use whipping cream?
Can you use the whipping cream?
Instead
Instead of what?
of,
So somebody asked if I could use the whipping cream. Yes. Heavy cream and heavy whipping cream one has a little more fat, but yes. You can use them interchangeably. Nope, we gotta let it come to a boil. Okay?
That's a good stirring.
Yes, that's great stirring. And after I cut the apple, I'm gonna show everybody what that looks like.
And what about half and half? Is what they say.
Half and half, it'll just be thinner and it won't be as rich. But I think that I haven't tried it with half and half, but you should be able to use half and half. All right, so I'm gonna.
Will we have the full recipes at the end?
You should have gotten, actually, here's what it looks like right now. We're gonna bring it to a boil. You should have actually gotten the full recipe. If you registered before today, you should have gotten the full recipe this morning in an email. I sent it at about 6 a.m. Arizona time. If for some reason you didn't get it, please email me and I will send it to you. All right, so now we are going to make the biscuits. How's that coming?
Good.
Okay. You just want to do a lightly floured surface. Well, this is a biscuit dough that we're using for the muffin part. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my rings off.
She said to go slow. Go slow.
Okay, I will go slowly. What I want to do is I'm going to turn this dough out onto the lightly floured surface. And I'm going to knead it until it's a little bit smoother.
They said to go slower.
Got it. I'm going to go slower. Okay.
Will
Thank you,
bubble?
guys. Yeah, it'll bubble, so just leave it there. Actually, I'll turn it up a little bit.
Okay. So.
We're going to medium.
Okay.
So this dough, when it's like this, it's called a shaggy dough. We want it to be a little bit smoother, but we don't want to knead it too much because we'll overbeat the dough and develop the glutens, and we'll have just a really tough monkey bread, which we don't want. Now we're gonna roll it out. Next, yes.
How did you make the dough?
How did I make the dough? The dough was with the flour, the baking powder, and the salt, and the 1.5 cups of heavy cream, and we just mixed it together, and here it is. Okay, so I'm gonna roll this out, and when you're rolling, you wanna start from the middle, and you like the smell of the sugar and the butter, there's nothing beats that. Start from,
It's bubbling.
okay, let it sit for a minute, just like that.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so Lucy, can you take this to the sink? Thank you. Cleaning as you go is a very important part of cooking. All right, so when you're rolling dough, you want to start from the middle and move out from the sides. You do not want to roll over the edge because you'll pinch it and you will not get an even dough. So what I want is kind of a long rectangle. I want to try and get about 50 pieces out of this. Okay, so we're going to keep rolling, and then I'm going to go to the side. I'll roll out some more.
It's getting really bubbly.
Okay, so just hit this right there. Pause clear. Okay, and then we'll show everybody what that looks like after the fact. All right, so this is looking pretty good, but I'm going to make it more of a rectangle because I want as even pieces as I can get. Okay. All right, so now, Lucy, you want to help me with this part?
Sure.
If you have a pizza cutter, this makes it super duper easy. Let me do can I do the first one? Okay. If you don't, just use a knife. No big deal. But when you use a pizza cutter, you kind of want to go slow. Otherwise, at least my pizza wheel, it wobbles. Okay, want to do this?
Sure.
All right. So just go like that.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna go up first. Yep, go straight on. Up first. Good job. There you go. Yep, perfect. Ooh. And while she's doing that, I am going to mix together the sugar and the cinnamon. I like to use a 1/2 cup of sugar to 1 1/2 teaspoons of sugar. I mean, cinnamon, you can always make it less cinnamony, more cinnamony. If you can say cinnamony 5 times, you get a prize.
Cinnamon.
Yeah, none of those was right. Okay, so we've got that nice and mixed. I'm just gonna show that. So we want, yeah, so now you're gonna go crosswise, okay? And you want, okay, and this is just what the cinnamon mixture should look like. No big deal. I do wanna note on the butter that you use in the recipe. So yeah, that's okay. So yeah, let's start here. I always use unsalted butter. Whenever I'm cooking, baking, whatever. I want to control the amount of salt that goes into my food, so I always, it doesn't have anything to do with the sodium, I just want to control the salt content. All right, I'm going to get all of this, like the seasoning part of it. I'm going to get all of this out of the way, and I'm going to go get the muffin tin that I have already sprayed with nonstick cooking spray. We're going to get that. And I'm going to get a spoon.
Any substitute for powdered sugar?
Any substitute for powder. You could use, actually, if you have a food processor, you can put sugar into it and make powdered sugar. You can add like a little, you can make it super duper fine and use that. If not, you can just use regular sugar. It'll just have a little bit of graininess to the icing. Oops. That's okay, just keep going. In all honesty, you can leave the icing off if you want to. It's really sugary and yummy, but it's not a big deal if you leave it off. All right, so I have my apples. I'm gonna get my caramel-ish sauce right behind you. And I'm going to spoon, thanks. So what I want you to start doing is start tossing, if you can toss, I'll move over a little bit. Toss the pieces.
Like just toss them?
No, like this. So you're gonna take your little pieces,
Toss them.
juggle them. I want you to juggle them.
Okay.
So you're gonna take your little pieces.
They said, will we get a recording of this?
That's a good question. Did you press record?
Yes, it's already recording.
Okay, so there will be a recording. I just have to figure out how to send it, the file, because it's a pretty big file. But yes, I will figure it out and I will send recordings. All right, so now don't put too many in there, but this is what I want you to do. Just toss them together with your fingers. So while you're doing that, just tossing these together, make sure that they don't stick together. It's okay if they get a little bit squished, like when you're doing it, but just make sure that the pieces themselves don't stick together.
See?
Yeah, thank you, Lucy. Yeah. All right, let's check the time. I need glasses. Can you tell me what time it is?
It's 4:48. And they said, how thick is the dough?
Oh, very good question. Thank you. The dough is about 1/2 inch thick.
And did we add butter mixture to sugar?
We mixed together the brown sugar and the butter. We melted the butter, and then we whisked in the brown sugar.
So do we just put it?
Not yet. Brought it to a boil, and this is what I'm putting into the tin right now. Lucy's showing you a piece. So I'm just doing about a tablespoon of the brown sugar mixture. So this is eventually going to be the top of the biscuit.
Where does the milk go?
The milk goes into the icing, and the milk, we'll get there in just a second when we get these in the oven. But the milk and the powdered sugar get whisked together with vanilla to make the icing.
Okay, they're all like.
Okay, that's good, because I'm going to start putting these in just a second. All right, so now I have the brown sugar butter mixture. So now I'm just going to put, we have another question. Now I'm just going to put a few of the apples.
Where is the dough going to?
We'll get there in just 1 second. The dough is going to go into the muffin tin. Okay, so I'm just putting a few little apples at the bottom on top of the sugar, and I'll show you what this looks like in just a minute.
Can I go fix the computer because I can't see the code?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, so now this is what they look like in there. Sorry. Was that like that the whole time?
Yep.
Whoops. Okay, so this is what they look like in there. And I'm gonna take about 5 or 6 of the dough pieces, so 5 or 6 of these, and I'm just gonna plop them right into the muffin tins. And some of these are a little bit small, so if they're small, you can put like 8. Okay, so once I get these in, I want you to start tossing some more in here, okay? So I've got these guys in there, and I'm gonna take some more apple and kind of shove them in the dough, like around and under the dough, because we want apple inside. Like when we pull apart this monkey bread, we want apple to fall out of there. So the apples will cook in the oven, because it's gonna be in the oven for 15 minutes. Okay, let's toss those together and get some in here. Okay, we'll just shove them. I'm gonna help you out here. Okay. That's okay. We're getting her done. All right, so plop, plop, plop. Apple, apple, apple. My oven hopefully is preheated all the way. Get those in. Do we have any more questions, Luce?
What is on the bottom of the muffin tin under the apple pieces before you start putting in the dough?
Like this thing? What? Oh, the brown sugar butter mixture? Is that what you're asking? Were you asking?
Yeah.
That's what she's asking?
Yeah.
So the brown sugar butter mixture, then the apples, and now the dough. And we're just loading this dough in. The more you kind of pack the dough, the more your muffins will hold together. Do we have another question?
No.
Okay. I love all the questions. That means you guys are really watching intently, which makes me happy. Sometimes the live classes, and I won't name names because a couple of them are on here, I believe, I have to keep them from talking while I'm going through this. So, but it is kind of lonely without all you guys in front of me. All right, I'm gonna toss these. Is there another question, Luce?
What did you say about the dough again?
Which part? I feel like I've talked a lot about the dough.
Can you move camera to show what you were doing?
Yes, I can't move the camera, but I can move. Is that?
Like you put them in.
Yeah, so I'm just putting the dough in here, and then I am just kind of shoving the apples in the dough. Does that help?
So the layers are butter/brown sugar mixture, apples, and then pieces of dough pressed in?
Yep, with the apples shoved in there. So the question was, is the order the brown sugar butter mixture, cinnamon sugar coated dough, no, brown sugar butter mixture, apples, cinnamon sugar coated dough, shove apples in, and then we're about to put this into the oven. Any other questions over there?
Nope.
All right, so if you don't use all this dough, like if you feel like they're all filled up enough, you can actually coat them in cinnamon sugar, put them on a sheet tray in the oven, and bake them for the same amount of time, and you have little cinnamon sugar biscuit bites.
Can we do that?
Yeah, I knew you were gonna ask that. Which if you eat them standing up, they have no calories. That's our rule in our kitchen. Okay. All right, so these are looking good. Might shove another piece in there and a couple of these just to get them nice and tight. Now, one more layer. I'm gonna do a little bit more of this brown sugar butter goodness on top of here. All right, and then we're gonna get these in the oven, and then I'm gonna make the icing. What time is it, Lucy?
It is 4:54.
All right, we have about 5 more minutes because you guys, I am still using the free version of Zoom until I figure out how all of this goes. So I'm gonna show you what these look like. Okay, scoot that out of the way. We're gonna put these in the oven. We'll bake them for 15 minutes or until the dough is cooked through. And the easiest way to tell if the dough is cooked through is to pick off a piece and make sure it's cooked through. All right, so this is what they look like
This is what they'll look like when they're done cooking.
And set them down. And then we're gonna quickly do the icing. Half a cup of the milk. We're gonna put that in with the powdered sugar. Hold on. Let's move some of this stuff out of the way. It's looking a little messy, which is causing me great anxiety. Okay. So we're just gonna whisk that together. That's a little thin. Lucy, can you go grab powdered sugar in the pantry?
So,
yeah. So I'm gonna add a little bit of vanilla extract in here. You don't have, it's gonna tint it a little bit brown, which is fine. If you wanted to, you could even add some like orange zest or lemon zest to the frosting, and that'll just add another dimension of flavor. So I'm hoping this will thicken it up a little bit. I think I just didn't measure out enough powdered sugar to begin with. Okay.
these are yummy.
Do you want to grab a spoon for me? And we'll just, so this is what they look like when they come out of the oven. So I forgot to mention, when you put them in the oven, put them on a sheet tray that's lined with parchment paper, because the sugar will spill over onto the bottom of your oven, which has happened to me a couple of times.
Repeat these ingredients because we do not have the recipe. And what is the oven temperature?
If you could just email me with your, email me that you don't have the recipe, I'll send it to you. But we have flour, baking powder, salt, heavy cream, apple, regular sugar, cinnamon, butter, brown sugar, now powdered sugar, milk, and vanilla extract. So when they come out of the oven after about 5 minutes, another question.
What is in the bowl you are stirring?
This is powdered sugar and milk. This is the icing with the vanilla. Okay, so when they come out of the oven after 5 minutes of cooling, you're gonna dump them onto the pan, because if you let them sit, they'll stick in there. So you can either turn them over or leave them kind of as upside down cakes. And then we're just gonna spoon a little bit of the frosting on top. And that's it. I mean, sure. If you guys have any other questions, we're running out of time here, but I do thank you guys so much. The class was almost full today, so I think there were like 48 people. So I really, really, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate your support. I have posted 2 more classes next week, and I'm posting 2 more classes on top of that, so there'll be 4 classes total for next week. So take a look at those. I really am open. I really want your feedback, because I want this to be the best experience possible for you guys. I want you to learn something, have fun, and be able to do this at home as well. All right. I see.
How long is it in the oven?
It's in the oven for 15 minutes or until the dough is done.
What are the other classes?
I have a stuffed shells class with meat sauce next week. I'm doing this class again earlier. I'm doing some East Coast time, so 2:30, and then I'm gonna do a frittata class in the afternoon next Thursday. They're all on my website, whiskedaway.net. You can also follow me on Instagram, because I post recipes almost every day on Instagram. So that's whiskedawayaz. We have another question?
No.
Okay.
Oh, cute shirt.
Thank you. I love myself some bacon.
Yummy.
But again, you guys, I really can't tell you how much I appreciate this. A lot of states are represented. A lot of my friends are out there from all over the country. So I appreciate this. Spread the word, because it gives us something to do too, right, Luce? Yep. All right. So feel free to email me with any questions. If you didn't get the recipe, email me and I will get that to you. Have a great day and enjoy these. They're dangerous. You can't eat just one. Thanks a lot, you guys, and hopefully we'll see some of you guys next week.
Bye.